Good evening. Today, got some Remington Peters 22250 Forster B1 Co-Ax resizing, bumping shoulders back. I sprayed them with some Dillon case lube, and I have this all batched up when that finally runs out. This bottle has lasted me over 2 years. What I do is I pour a bunch of brass into a bin like this, get a couple sprays, shut it up, shake it around so it gets evenly dispersed. Some of you use a Ziploc bag. This does it a little faster. You can do a lot more brass. Open the lid. Alcohol starts to evaporate. They're still a little bit tacky, of course, because of the lanolin, but you know what? They're all lubed. Now just watch. Silly me, and I'll end up sticking a case, which I haven't done for a while. I won't bore you and do all these, but I've got 75 that I'm doing. I'm gonna load up another 25 with some 50 grain Z-Max, and probably use some either Benchmark or Vitavori N133. I haven't decided yet. Of course, got some LT32 that I could use. There's my Vitavori, and I don't think 10X will work in this cartridge, but I have not looked at the data. The only thing I've done to this press is I put these different links on, because now I can reach in from the side, whereas before, the way it was built, you have to reach from the front. And then I put the shorter handle on it. This is the first generation. The original press was not made by Bonanza. It was made by Gopher something or other in conjunction with the Army Marksmanship Unit. Patent was 1969. Back then the press was brown. A few years later, Bonanza bought the company or the patent, one or the other or both, started making the press. This is the Bonanza B1. They're up to B5, but now made by Forster, who bought Bonanza. This is not a Forster die. This is an RCBS full-length sizer. I'm using a Hornady lock and load lock ring on it because it just happens to work. Over here, this is a Forster bench rest cedar die. This is a Forster lock ring. Just love that. Don't you just love that? The way it just Pops in, floats if you need it. No shell holder. Mess with. It's lovely. Lovely, lovely. Oh, come on. I know you're in there. There we go. What's going on here? I think there was something at the stuck on the bottom there. It could be a contaminate in my brass. There's a few pieces of dry media that are embedded in the lanolin goop. It's in that tub. I can't tell you how many thousand rounds that I've lubed inside that tub, but it's been a bunch. It's been a bunch. That's how I do it when I'm going to do a bunch like this. If I was just doing, say 25, I'd use this Imperial because it's slick and a little dab will do ya. Oh, one of the things about the B1 is it still used a shell holder here for the priming. This happens to be the same shell holder that I would use on these large cases. So I'm just going to leave it on there since I won't be loading any smaller rim cases, because personally I don't want to mess with this plate down here. And if you can see this, maybe you can't, it's hiding behind the press. That's a Lee bench priming system, which I normally use to prime all my brass with. It's not foolproof, but it'll get a lot done. You didn't see me adjust the die before I started. That's because last night I had loaded 25 of these with the same bullet using IMR 8208 XBR. And when I tried my first resize case in my rifle's chamber, it was a no-go. So I bumped it down once or twice, and the bolt finally closed. So I left the die where it is now. Well, got a little while before it finished, and I won't do that while you're watching, but here's an example of what was loaded last night. .25. It's a bullet that's been discontinued by Hornady. The Z-Max, the green tips. I was lucky enough to get a box of 500 of those last year. And my only intention was to shoot him in this 22-250 that I have. Well, if I keep going here, I'm going to be done before I had planned. And then I've got some brass in the wet tumbler that I had to shut off behind me because it was way too loud to do this video. And once I go off camera, I'll turn that back on and get that finished up. So till next time, happy loading and see ya.